Madam Chair. And Mr. Miller, thank you for being here with you. And I appreciate all the good folks that work for you um, up and down the border, northern border, coastal, and every part of the U.S. I want to talk about non-essential travel. As you know, it's something I've been trying to do and try to open up since last year. Under the former commissioner, Mark Morgan, we almost had something worked out where we could have a face in, depending on the health of the communities, and CBP and the local communities will decide how to open the borders in a safe way. We're in a much better situation than we were last year. As you know, vaccinations and cases in my hometown Laredo and in the Valley are extremely low and all that. My problem are contradictions that we have, and I'm not blaming you, but we let undocumented aliens into the U.S. and there's no health issue. We talk about bringing in legal Mexican visa holders that before the pandemic were spending over $19 billion for our restaurants, hotels, small businesses, not only the border, but I mean, it's California, Texas, Colorado, and all over that. But there's a health issue on that. They say it's a health issue, according to the secretary. When you let a rich Mexican fly in, they can fly in, and it's not a health issue. You let a poor Mexican that wants to come over and spend 15, 20 bucks or see a family member on the US side, it's a health issue. So there's a lot of contradictions. In my area along the border, there are some businesses that depend on 40, 50, maybe even percent more on Mexican shoppers. When I talked to the secretary, he said it's a health issue, as I just mentioned, which I respectfully disagree with him the way he put it, especially on the contradictions I just mentioned to you. So I talked to CDC. CDC basically, well, the secretary said, talk to CDC, it's a health issue. I talked to CDC, they push it back to Homeland, and they said it's Homeland security issue. I've had very good talks with your health undersecretary, Gary, and he does a great job. And I'm just trying to figure out, when are we going to open this up? I mean, there's so many contradictions, and I got businesses that have closed down, not only because of the pandemic, but on top of that, you lose 40, 50, 60% of your business. What do we need to do to get this open in spite of all those contradictions I just laid out to you? And my businesses are so frustrated. My communities are so frustrated. I mean, I assume we're going to open up one of these days, but I'm just trying to see if we can expedite this in a safe way. And I, want to follow up with you after this call, if you don't mind, after this hearing, should I say.
Congressman, thank you so much. And first of all, thank you for recognizing the heroic work that the men and women of CBP continue to do under unprecedented times, under the most difficult situations. First and foremost, as you know, from the background of my career, I grew up in small communities on the northern border, and I understand the economic impact that this is having on the small communities and the communities on the southwest border. So really, I'm committed to working with you over the next 30 days or so to see what we can do in a more regional approach. And I look forward to working with you in the future. So we can do that as well. And we'll continue to consult with DHS, like you said, CWMD and CDC and CBP to ensure that we have a clear path forward. And I thank you for the question.
All right, and I'd like to follow up on that because I keep getting different signals on that. Just real quickly, I would ask you, because I'm going to ask for another line of questioning if we have time, but I would ask you to look at the technology and some of the requests for proposals that are set out to be 14 years of performance, and I'm a little worried about that. We can follow up. I know my time is up. I got about 20 seconds left, but I'm just concerned that if we go with some of the RFPs we're going to see the same thing we saw with Boeing in 2008, and we're still in the same place with technology. So anyway, I'd like to follow up on that issue, on some of the RFPs that you put out for towers and instruments and communications all on board. My time is up, but like to follow up on that, Mr. Miller, and thank you for your time.